be discussing about one of the questions from 2024 Physics Class 10 board exam paper, third part of question number 2. So the question states that a non-uniform beam of weight 120 Newton pivoted at one end is shown in the diagram. This is the diagram given below, and you need to calculate this F value to keep the beam in equilibrium. So you can see this is the shape of the object, right, which is of course not uniformly distributed. That is where the center of gravity is not at the center but towards more where the weight of the object is more on that side. So you know that when the center of gravity is going to act downward, this is the pivot. So what will happen? So if this is a pivot, if this thing is heavy, it is going to fall down like this. So in order to balance this force, I need to apply force on this side, so that whatever is the weight here which is pulling it down, this weight which I am going to apply or force which I am going to apply is going to balance and is going to make this beam in equilibrium. So what has to be done? Here we are going to apply the principle of moment, which states that the clockwise moment should be equal to anti-clockwise, and I have already drawn this diagram here. So now what we are going to do, I know this force is going to pull it down, pull this object down, and I need to apply the force on the other hand, so that it, whatever is going down, it could be brought back to the same position so that it becomes under equilibrium. Okay, so now here this weight is acting downwards, fine, and this value here is giving to be 120 Newton. Okay, so I know force into perpendicular distance is the formula, and what is the force here in this case? This is 120 into what is the distance from the pivot. Remember, it has to be counted from the pivot, that is 0.20, right? And when you are going to apply this force, so this is F into again perpendicular distance. So what is F here? I don't know, I have to find out. And perpendicular distance, see, many of us might take 0.80 minus 0.20, like you might forget this thing that always the distance has to be taken from the pivot, and pivot here is at the corner, right, extreme corner. So you need to make sure that you don't do this mistake. So I would write F into 0.80. So these two should balance each other so that it becomes under equilibrium. So we are going to equate them, F into 0.80. So I am going to shift this 0.80 on the other side, 120 into 0.20 by 0.80. So this is 4, this is 30. So value of F is 30 Newton.